So, if you are like me and you recently switched to Linux with no prior Linux experience, um, you may have extremely specific and niche things that you want to do that there probably isn't very much documentation on how to do. Uh, Now, Linux has honestly been a very relatively painless experience. I was led to believe that I would be stuck in command line for 70% of my usage time, but that actually hasn't been the case. Most things have actually been seamless, at least on the distribution that I'm using. That's Fedora Linux, specifically KDE Plasma. Uh, but in any case, if you are a little bit neurotic like me, and you want your game, this is Ocarina of Time running on the ship of Harkinian, which is the unofficial PC port. If you are a little bit neurotic like me, you may want your game to look like this. Now, it looks a little bit off on the recording, but for me, it looks like I'm playing on a CRT, which may be something that, if you're a little autistic, you may desire. And I spent a long time trying to figure out how to get this done. Uh, the reason being, there is a native Linux port of Ship of Harkinian, but of course there's no shader support. No way to inject shader files, particularly not reshade ones, into that native Linux port. And so you may be led to believe that the only way to run Ship of Harkinian on Linux is through the native Linux port, but come to find out, it actually runs just as good through the Windows version. And a little bit more on that in a sec. So let's back out of this, and I will show you how that you can get reshade working on the Ship of Harkinian unofficial port for Ocarina of Time. So first thing is you want to get the Ship of Harkinian installed on, or sorry, you want to get the Windows installation. So we just go here. You aren't going to run it natively, but you're just going to go to their GitHub, and then you're just going to click the Windows version. And let's just make like a, a little test folder here, and we'll save it here. And then just unpack it like normal. Not that. So we have this sitting here. This is our directory for Ship of Harkinian. We have this exe file, which of course you can't run normally on Linux. So there is a solution to that. More on that later. Actually, more on that now. So what you are going to do next is just go into Steam and see, I already have this all set up myself, complete with a nice banner and everything. But what you need to do first is you're just going to add a non-Steam game and just browse here. And then, yeah, it's already in. You're just going to make it the directory to wherever you saved your ship of Harkinian.exe. And then we're just going to hit add selected programs. Great. So just to differentiate that here, we're just going to rename it. Boom. So we have the ship of Harkinian.exe that is listed here now in Steam. And the reason that we're linking it to Steam isn't just so we can have the nice overlay, but we are going to force the use of a specific Steam Play compatibility tool. I imagine most Proton versions are going to work just fine. The latest, probably fine. I specifically use GE Proton, but I've also used it with one of these that just ship with Steam itself, so Proton 9.0 or 10, doesn't really matter, but I'm just going to use GE Proton because it's what I've been using. But yeah, pick any of the Proton versions that work. Most of them should. And then we'll leave that for now. So the next step is we need to get reshade on there. Oh, and mind you, obviously, you have to provide your own ROM. So for the purposes of the video, I'm not going to do that. You need to source your own legal ROM. However you do that is not my business, but I will not be showing you where to get your own ROM. So for myself, I'm just going to move the ROM that I have. So just, I'm going to paste it here. I'm just going to move it over here so that this can, compile the actual port. But you will need to find your own ROM here. If you haven't used Ship of Harkinian before, it does require specific kinds of ROMs. Not all of them will work. So like third-party ones that you might find on, say, Vim's Lair, which I don't even know if that's around anymore, you are not going to be able to use because they have third-party alterations that change the hex code of the ROM, and so this won't be able to use it. So you will need a untouched, legal, clean ROM to drop in here. But there's a multitude of ways to get that fairly easily, so do your own research. But the next thing that we're going to do is we're just going to look up reshade-steam-proton on Steam. You can hear, and I already have the script installed, so I don't need to do these first two, but literally all you do is just open your command line, copy that, and then just hit Control Alt V. Sorry, just Control V, Control Shift V. Jesus, you think I've used this before? So Control Shift V, and then you're just going to paste that in there, and then the same for these two. This is the important one, so we're going to execute the script on here. So one sec here. Open your command line. We're going to execute this script. And then you will see that you are given a prompt. You want to install or uninstall Reshade for a DirectX or OpenGL game. So here is one important note here. I need to open Steam again. I apologize for my weird way of talking right now. I'm a little bit sick, so we're going to open Ship of Harkinian. So I have it on the other window, but just click yes here. Yep. We're just going to make sure it's all working fine, but there is a setting that we're going to be looking for, and it's going to be what video API is it going to be using, because that will determine which option we choose here. So we'll wait for this to finish, and then once it finishes, we'll know what to choose. Either one should work. I've used it both ways, but I think currently the way that I have been using it with no issues has been through DirectX. But let's just see what it defaults to here. So if we go to graphics API, looks like it's on DirectX. That's fine. So we'll just go install, and then we just want to get the folder path for where the Ship of Harkinian is. Yep. 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 All right, so installed there. So we just need to copy this here. Go to properties, and in the launch options, paste it here. And so this means that you do need to launch through Steam. That's not a big deal. Because what it means is that you'll get this here. You'll get the reshade overlay. All you got to do is hit home to set it up. And then you're golden. I forgot what my home key is actually, but that overlay, if you, because I have a 60% keyboard, but if you have the overlay working, that's how you know reshade is installed properly. So what we can do is we can just close that. Actually, you don't even really need to close it. You can do it while it's still open, but there will be a new directory here, reshade shaders, and we're going to go to merged shaders, and then these are where you can install shaders that you want. Mine, this is a shared directory, so you can, it already has the ones I installed earlier because it's a symlink, but I use CRT Royale. You can find that. You can find a converted version of CRT Royale that works with Reshades API online. All you have to do is just drop it in this folder that will be created in your directory, and then you can then use ship of Harkinian with reshade. So just to demonstrate that it is working, I need to quickly look up. I don't remember what my home key is. What is it? Ah, there it is. So just to demonstrate that it's working, make this full screen real quick. We can go to here and click CRT Royale, and that's now working. There you go. So you have a CRT setup for Ship of Harkinian on Windows. It can get a little bit annoying to navigate the menus with this enabled, so just set a hotkey to disable it on the fly whenever you go in the menu. That way you don't have to look at it super blurry. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's, in hindsight, it's really easy. But it took me a while to figure out the right path because I was going down the wrong path quite a few times. But yeah, anyways, that's pretty much it.